Kevin Hunter with Dave Ford here on the Business Forum Show, and we are at the Minneapolis Convention Center and chatting with Neil Olson from Neil's Heating and Air Conditioning. Welcome to the show, Neil. So, first of all, tell us a little bit about your organization. You've had this company for 37 years, correct?
Plus, yes, 37 years.
Okay. So, what made you decide to get into the heating and cooling business 37 years ago?
Worked for my father. Had a family, 2 beautiful daughters, and you know how it is working for a father.
Yeah.
I said, I'm out of here. I said, I quit. He said, you can't do that. You got a family to support. I said, don't you worry about them. I'll take care of them.
Mm-hmm.
As it turned out, a friend of mine I went to school with said that the local heating company was hiring some guys to work out at the gypsum mill in Fort Dodge, Iowa.
Uh-huh.
Sheet metal workers. $2 an hour, working 7/12s. Sounded good to me. So I got into them. After I finished the project with them, they took me on for a 4-year apprenticeship. I became a journeyman sheet metal worker.
Mm-hmm.
Then I decided I wanted to move forward, get into sales and service. So I come up here to go to school. I went to Dunwoody to their HVAC course. And when I got out, I worked for several local companies. And then in 73, 74, I went and worked on the Alaska Pipeline for a while.
Mm-hmm.
Came back and said, I'm going to start my own business. That's it.
So you decided to give it a go.
Give it a go.
So, you know what's really funny is when you mentioned that you were working for your dad, is there's a lot of people who have worked for an organization or worked for a boss and decided they could do the job better than their boss did, so they start a business like theirs, but you just didn't like working for your dad, is what it sounds like.
Well, just, he just wanted to tell me what to do all the time. You know how fathers are.
Sure.
He was an entrepreneur. He had several different companies. He had a metal company. He had a foundry. He had case implement company. So there could have been a career there, but I just decided I wanted to do my own.
Dave, your thoughts?
Well, I guess the first question that I'm thinking is he's went through quite a bit with going down to Iowa and then going on working on the Alaska Pipeline. He's been in business. He's owned the business for 37 years. So I'm wondering, okay, what's been your biggest challenge over 37 years in running the business? That's a long time to run a business.
Well, a friend of mine I worked with said that I should get into sales work because I talk too much.
Okay.
So I said, well, okay. So sales was the hardest part of it. I mean, you got to be able to express yourself, get your product out there, convince the customers that you can do the best service for them at the best possible price. And I've been pretty successful at it.
Okay. Did you have team members or mostly by yourself? Or
to start off with, there was me, myself, and I.
Yeah.
Go out and sell it, come back, order the equipment, install it, service it, and then we grew to the point of about 17 employees.
Nice.
Several salesmen. We've tapered back a little bit. I don't need all that overhead, as they say.
Yep.
So I'm at the point in my life where I'm just very comfortable with what I'm doing.
Nice.
So I'm curious, when the economy really took a hit, as far as the housing market in particular, I'm sure had to have some impact on your business. Were the things that you had to do adjustment-wise, business-wise, to come through like 2007, 2008, 2009, those areas?
The economy hurts anybody, obviously.
Sure.
And we have done a lot of new house construction, heating systems, ductwork systems. Our primary goal switched over from the building market to the residential sales. Everybody needs a furnace in Minnesota. And we're at the point now where everybody needs an air conditioner in Minnesota. When I grew up, we didn't know what an air conditioner was, but those days have changed. Now everybody has an air conditioner. The economy being bad throughout the nation affected everybody, including us. In Minneapolis, it's a very progressive city. It didn't suffer as bad as other areas of the United States. Fortunately, in the line of business that I'm in, everybody needs a furnace. Everybody needs an air conditioner. So no matter how bad the economy is, they find a way to find the funds to be able to get that job done. It slowed quite a bit, obviously, because funding was just not available. It wasn't there. So it has affected everybody, including us. But it's been pretty steady because of the fact that we have a product that everybody needs. We're not selling widgets.
Sure. Well, one of the questions I have for you, Neil, because obviously you're aware of the fact that there's a lot of competition in this market, and being around for 37 years, you've found a way to position yourself against your competition. What makes Neil's Heating and Air Conditioning unique, do you think, to your competitors?
Well, they're not going to like to hear me say this, but the fact is that we supply a superior product with high quality control, and we provide a high quality installation at extremely competitive price.
Mm-hmm.
Basic, just basic business work.
Dave, you want to dig into that some more?
Well, he's been around for 37 years, so he's obviously been successful at it in doing it. And most businesses, one of the biggest challenges they have competitors out there, is how do they differentiate themselves? How do they set themselves apart so that when somebody says, well, why should I buy from you instead of this guy, that you can fairly succinctly answer it. One of the biggest things about what he just said is how confident he is in it, how committed he is into this is why I'm better. So you can ask the question, you believe his answer, you believe he's confident in his answer. A lot of times you ask the question and you'll get, well, and it'll take a few minutes to answer.
Sure. You know what?
We encourage our customers to get other estimates. We really do.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
And obviously, the basic format of sales would be the last one in.
Mm-hmm.
And try and get both the husband and wife together, because at this day and age, it's a mutual decision.
Mm-hmm.
Years ago, it was a man's decision. Now the women have a very active part in it, and in fact, they are more vocal and ask more questions than the men do nowadays.
Mm-hmm.
So consequently, when you make a good sales presentation, it's fairly easy to tell customers and show customers that you can provide the best service and best product.
Sure. So do you find with women heavily involved in that purchasing decision, do you find that your presentation has to gear more towards the education side of things? Because we see this in a lot of different businesses, but women really love to see the information. They want to see that they're sometimes tend to be more fact finders than guys will be when it comes to things. Are you seeing that your presentation has to focus that direction?
That's a very accurate statement, and you're totally correct in that. But at the same time, you have to understand that heating and cooling products, most people buy one or two in their lifetime.
Mm-hmm.
So this is not their forte. They have no clue what they're looking for, other than just they hit the thermostat and it heats or cools. That's all they know about. So we find that the men have just as many questions as the women do, and we have to educate them on what the product will do for them, no matter what the brand is.
Mm-hmm.
So yes, there's a lot of information that gets supplied to the customers.
Dave, your thoughts?
Yeah, it's understanding who the decision maker is and who you're talking to and how they make decisions. A lot of times the salesperson will go into the sales situation and not really pay attention to who really is making the decision.
Mm-hmm.
They'll try to sell based on this specific, okay, here's my script, here's my process. But if I'm not talking to the person that makes the decision, it doesn't make any difference. And if I'm not giving that person that is making the decision what they need, I'm not going to have any shot. In any sales conversation, there's two salespeople involved. The one selling the product and the one selling the reason why I don't need it.
Yeah, yeah, good analogy. So you've been around 37 years, Neil. Share with us some success stories that you've had over those 37 years in your business.
Well, I worked for one of my competitors before I got into business, and one of the things I really feel good about was that I ended up selling one of the executive officers of Honeywell a new product that I convinced him that we had the best product and price for him. And the last thing he said to me as we walked out the door, and he shook my hand, he says, "Well, I knew I was going to buy a furnace and air conditioner. I just didn't know I was going to buy that particular brand."
Very nice.
That was a nice accomplishment, yes.
Absolutely. What pieces of advice would you give to somebody who's trying to start a business today that's anything like yours?
Interesting. I get that question a lot. People come that work for me and say, "Well, you live comfortably, you drive nice vehicles, you travel a lot." I've been twice around the world. I've been to all 50 states, etc. I do a lot of traveling. I said, well, I want to do that. I said, it's really simple. It is? Tell me the secret. I said, well, you work 30 or 40 years, about 60, 80 hours a week, and it falls in your lap. I know it's been said over and over again, but that is the answer. It really is.
Mm-hmm.
It really is.
Well, very nice. Any parting thoughts?
I mean, I think he kind of summed it up. He's obviously done a few things right to get to where he is, and it's not a short-term solution. It takes time to get there. It's not. There's no get-rich-quick scheme out there.
Absolutely.
You gotta figure out the right thing and stick to it.
Well, it's been a pleasure visiting with you here, Neil, on the Business Forum Show. We're talking with Neil Olson from Neil's Heating and Air Conditioning. You can find him on the web at neilheating.com. Again, that's neilheating.com. You can also call the office at 763-786-5530. Again, 763-786-5530. Kevin Hunter with Dave Ford on the Business Forum Show. Thanks for listening.